My name is John Todderud. I'm a real estate investor, and I've bought or been the general partner in acquiring nearly 500 apartment units. Although I'm not the main person driving day to day activities for most of them. I wanted to share what my days used to look like building up to this point to help people know that they can get started, fit it into their time, and maybe find out a way that it meets their schedule and requirements. So I started off by just checking. I had a W 2 job, regular day job, worked a lot of hours, probably more than 40 hours most of the time, but I was able to find time to do the basic things. First, looking in local real estate listings for small apartment units or properties. I was looking for things between maybe 3 and 10 units or so. And you can see that on most real estate broker websites and maybe even an MLS at the time, but it was not easy, but not that hard. And I talked to brokers, met a few brokers in my area and talked to them. So my job was to be looking on the websites, being pointing out properties that I thought might be interesting, finding the brokers for those properties, just the listing brokers. I didn't really have one particular broker that I was saying, go out and find me a property. I was doing this on my own. I wanted to have a feel for it and get a better understanding of what to look for and talk to the brokers, had them send me the financials, reviewed the financials. A lot of times the financials are garbage, or the broker representing that property really didn't know what they were doing. They represented single family homes which didn't have income statements and rent rolls and things like that. So they tried to explain it, and I could tell that they were just in a little over their heads. But nevertheless, they'd send me what they had, whatever the owner provided them, and I'd review that. I would review that in my spare time, sometimes evenings, sometimes weekends. I would spend mornings occasionally, but then I'd be making phone calls. And occasionally during the day, there'd be a phone call I'd have to put out, like call a few people or maybe get a few phone calls. And I had to be able to step away from my desk, maybe have some time and space near the desks that I had at the time when I went into the office and be able to take a phone call because nobody around me wanted to listen to a conversation that I had with the broker. And to be honest, I wasn't sharing this kind of work that I was doing with coworkers. It wasn't like, oh, I got a broker call. Excuse me, I'm going to walk away and take the call. Nah, didn't do that. A lot of people can, more power to you, but that's not what I was doing. So I would take the calls, review financial information from my computer, and then nights and weekends I'd be going out to see properties because they were nearby there or drive to the properties. All this stuff that I was doing, I'd make appointments with the brokers for after work, usually not during the day. Those were after work activities. Then little by little, as the properties grew and I sold them, bought bigger properties, it was still pretty much the same kind of thing where I'm making phone calls to either property owners if I could find them, but mostly to brokers who were representing the sales, or brokers who I knew were active in these markets and who found multifamily properties. That's a key piece of it. You got to find somebody who's got their ears tuned to that market because not everybody does. A lot of residential real estate brokers couldn't care less about commercial real estate or income producing properties at all. They don't have any knowledge or interest in it. Their focus is on residential properties, and that's great. It's great to have that kind of focus and know that that's not an area. Other brokers are saying, yeah, I can find anything you want. You want a broker who really goes out and looks for multifamily properties, who that's an area of their specialty and they have some knowledge and experience in it. And be talking to them and keep them on the top of your mind. So you're talking to them during the day. That happened to me for several more years, looking for these smaller nearby properties. Then as I started going to conferences, learning how to syndicate and partnering up with other experienced investors, the game changed a lot. I started looking at other markets outside of my area. I happened to be on the West Coast, and my markets were further east, and that changed my schedule. It actually worked well for my schedule because I had I'm good at getting up early in the morning, and I like working at that period of time. It just works for me. Other people work in the evening. So I'm up early, and before I'm going to work in the morning, I am calling into a time zone that's 2 or 3 hours later than when I am. So I can be early in the morning, call them, talk to a broker, owner, property manager, whoever it might be, and they are up and around and already at work and they can take my calls. Not everybody does, and still the same kind of deal. You're going to work and you're getting calls returned to you because you just called and left a message in the morning and they weren't there, or they didn't know you didn't want to take the call or whatever. And you need to be ready to take that call. You're looking at your phone and it's an unknown number, and today at least we look at the unknown numbers and we think, "Oh, I'm not going to answer that. It's just junk or garbage, or somebody wants to sell something to me." But those of us who have made a lot of calls and left a lot of voice messages tend to answer their phones, and it was more so a few years ago. So this is something that you really should get used to. This is what I was doing back then, and I strongly recommend it, as being ready to take a call during the day. A real estate broker, they're really good at answering their phones, and you usually don't have to leave a voice message with them. You need to be the same way. If you're a buyer of multifamily properties, you need to be doing that, regardless of small or large. But you need to get comfortable with that, taking a call. And if you can't take the call, use a little tool on your cell phone that says, "Can I call you back in 5 or 10 minutes? Can I call you back later?" Whatever works for you, whatever your message happens to be, but use those things to make that connection. Don't leave them hanging. You called them, they're returning your call, make it work. And then evenings, weekends, me early morning, do what you need to do at your computer. If you're underwriting, if you're checking out other pieces of information on the internet, or you need to do something on your computer, find your time, block it out. If you have a family, kids, whatever, you need to spend the time with them during the day, or evenings and weekends, do it when they're not around. If you can get up earlier, stay up later, you need to block that time out. Figure out what that is and make that time, and be responsive. Don't let people go for a week or two because, "Oh, I just got too busy with my job," that kind of thing. If you're interested in this and you have a very busy and an important job, and you sometimes have to work more than 40 hours a week, I get it. Everybody does. That's why you have the ability and capacity and intelligence and perseverance to pursue real estate. You understand this, and one of your criteria is that you're good at your job currently. Well, take that skill and expertise and apply it to real estate. Find that time. That's why you're going to be good at real estate, and that's my biggest recommendation, is to find time during the day to do all these things. And whether it's early morning or middle of the day or evenings or weekends, there is time. You can find the time, and busy people are better than most at finding the time to do these things, but just be responsive. That's a little bit about my day, and I'll follow up with another video about what I'm doing today, how that's changed, how my days changed, what I do today that I didn't do like 5 or 10 years ago.